Hello, welcome to another Terrain Tuesday. In this one, we're going to be looking at something a bit different. We're going to be looking at some paper models from Fat Dragon Games. So for this, I actually purchased mine via Drive-Thru RPG, but you can just go to their main website if you don't want to go to Drive-Thru. What the ones we're looking at is in the paper terrain, fantasy, 3D fantasy paper, and we are looking at Ravenfell, and this is what I have purchased. These are the sets I've purchased. For what we're looking at today, although I haven't made it all, I've bought the core set, expansion 1, some ruins, which I haven't made yet, so they won't be in this video. The docks, again, haven't made those yet, but I will do. Just bought them for a future. You'll see these probably in the future videos. And I got expansion 2. I didn't want to get the sewers just yet. I might do for something, but I don't really need them yet. Steam items I won't get because I'm not really into steampunk. Mills I won't get. So you go to here and purchase the items from here. Right, so once you purchase them, you'll get a PDF that you can download. I recommend definitely not opening them up in the browser, getting something like Adobe Acrobat Reader because it's free, and also because you want to get access to the layers. Now this is the important thing about these, because you can change the actual style of these buildings. So down here you can see you've got background image. I get rid of that. You can even have a building that just sort of looks like that if you want, but background image, but you can change it to stone style 2, stone style 3. You can add, so we go back to just the default, you can add moss layer over it to make it look more grimy. You can have the ivy on there. Add a door onto it here, or a door onto it there, so a different style door. You can even add snow over it. You can have the windows on or off. You can have them open or shut. And the same with this. Or you can just have a hole in the wall. No window at all even, sorry. One thing I would recommend if you're printing these out just to save a wee bit of ink is get rid of the key, get rid of the registration mark, get rid of the silhouette registration mark. The lines you're going to want to keep because they're going to be handy for building them. And sometimes that dragon layer, there is a layer here for that, but I think that's included in the background on some of them. So yeah, you're going to want to get rid of that. So what you're going to want to do is print these out, and I print these out on 300 GSM cardstock, so it's printable card. That's a base. We're going to get back to this in a bit to have an improvement to these, but yeah, so this is what they look like all printed out. We're looking at the basic building 3 here, which is weird. I don't know why they didn't make this one building 1. But the instructions tell you to start making building 3 because it's the simplest. So a little tip here is just to, once you cut it out, come in with a paintbrush and a similar colour paint. Here I'm using Carrick Stone, and just paint the edges, and also where you've scored in and folded, just paint in that fold, that score. This will cover up the brightness of the white, and so when it's all put together it will just look better. Once you've got one cut out and painted along the edges, you're going to use glue. Don't use PVA, use a stick glue like this. Brand name would be something like Pritt Stick or something, but do not use PVA or any wet glue. The way I do this is I just line them up like so, push down and stick on. It's can be quite tricky. I actually in the end found out using this technique here where I flipped them over worked best, so I could see where the fold should be. One trick for these buildings, which is pretty cool, is you can flat pack them if you so wish. So they're designed so when you glue them together, you can pull them apart and flat pack them, and the roof of this is a prime example of this. It has these flaps, these holes, and so what you do is, it says there, do not glue, so that would just push onto a flap here like so, And this can be quite tricky. And it then glues onto the other side, which I won't show you here, but it will be held on by the back by a paper clip, which is quite ingenious. And once you have it made, sort of the bottom main building and the roof, it will just slot in. So you're not attaching or permanently attaching the roof to the base. So if you don't have a lot of storage space, this is ideal. But doing it like this can be fiddly. And speaking of fiddly, the chimney. This might draw you to the edge of despair. You have to fold it all over and glue it in, and the chimneys are all glued into place. You won't flat pack these necessarily, but they won't be glued into the roof. They'll just be slotted in to the slots that are on the roof. Like so. And even this is terribly fiddly, so have a swear jar ready. And this is what they look like put together. This is building 3, the basic building. As you can see, you can take it off, take the roof off, pull that paper clip out that we had in, and we can flat pack this. I'm just going to show you how to flat pack it now. To do the building, you just push the floor out, collapse it down, put it all together. Might as well keep paper clips with it. Chimney, and that's it. You can store that fairly easy somewhere. But what about putting it together? Well, that's pretty much just as quick. Just fold it out, slam the floor bit into the bottom. Put the roof, put the tab back into the slot. And then what we're going to do is grab our paper clip. Yeah, this will be standard. As you do one, the other one will fall out of the slot, but once you've got one in, it becomes really easy. Grab your paper clip, slide it in like so to hold it in place. Do the same for the other side. Stick the chimney in. Once you've put the chimney in and out a few times, it actually gets really easy to go in, gets easier. And it's also easier to put the chimney in before you attach the roof, just so you can get access to it from the other side, like so. And then just attach the roof to the base and you've got a building. And so if you don't have a lot of room, you've got enough lovely little building. Now, as a little improvement, what you can do, just to make it a bit more sturdy and a bit more weighty. The problem is with paper buildings is they're a bit light and easily knocked. So what I have done is done away with the paper insert and got a foam core insert. Got loads of foam core offsets, offcuts, so it's just a 4x4 bit of foam core. Put it in there and it just one, makes it feel more sturdy. Two, strengthens it up. In time, I might actually just do away with the disposable foldiness of them and just glue them all together, but at the moment it's quite handy, so I can dispose of them nicely, store them nicely, even not dispose. And likewise, when it comes to other bits such as the street sign, town sign here, what I'm going to do is make a little improvement with these. So once they're cut out, what I am going to do is I'm going to come in, fold them out as normal, scoring down. I'm going to use some 3mm chipboard that I'm just going to put in between the legs, just to strengthen it out and make it slightly thicker. So I'm just going to use that to trace around the legs on 3mm chipboard, and I'm going to cut that out. Like so. So you end up with something that's easier to stand up, a bit more sturdy, and it just looking a bit better. And then, like what I've done with the buildings, I'm just going to get some paint and paint round that bright white edging. So yeah, that's it. I'm really impressed with these. These are great if you're on a budget, or you don't have a lot of storage, so you can flat pack them down. They look fantastic, albeit a bit flat, I guess. If you wanted to, you could add some balsa wood around the doors, just to make them look a bit more 3D. But really, for wargaming and RPGing, do you really need that level of detail? That's up to you. So if you're not really bothered about that, look how good these look. These just printed out on a cheap inkjet printer, Canon MG2550S. So, you know, not even a great printer really. It's just a cheap, cheerful printer. 300 GSM cardstock, most important, and you get these. So yeah, and I got these actually in a sale, so I got all the packs I got for just under 15 quid. So a really good deal. But now I'm going to shut up and have a look at all the buildings.